Hi everyone, it's Wanda with the Armchair Cat Advocate. And this morning, I wanted to give a little update here on our friend Chaplin. Um, Believe it or not, I just put clean pads in there for him, pee pads, but I then gave him some nip, so that explains why the pad's a little bit disheveled. But he just had something to eat. Next step is I have to do his head for the ringworm, treat his ringworm, which it's looking better up there. It's hard to see in the. Let me see if I can if this helps any. And you see his, well, of course he's got nip on it, but it does look better. Um, he had some Friskies this morning, and then he had two little. I think I moved them, but he likes the little fancy feast, the little snap. Um, they're like little trays, and you snap them in half. There's two. There's two together, and they're perforated. Then you snap them in half, so they're like two servings in one. He likes those too, so he got a little bit of that, and he was crying this morning when I got up because his pen was messy, wasn't it? Yeah. He said I needed my pen changed in my poo-poo box. So, what I wanted to talk about though is I got another comment this morning, and I'm really like so done with these comments of people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have the cats caged. Oh, you should set them free. Oh, they're living creatures and they don't deserve to be caged." And blah 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 blah. It's like, okay, well, how about this? What, I don't know if this person. I think the person's name was Nancy. So I don't know if Nancy ever had kids, but I wonder if Nancy just like, if Nancy ever had kids, I wonder if Nancy ever just like plopped her newborn on the floor and said, go free. Yeah, I mean, really. Because that's kind of what you're doing is, you know, animals and kids can't consent. That's why they have guardians, that's why they have caretakers. Because they can't consent. Because, they will do things that are hazardous to their health. Kids will stick their hands on a hot stove. Cats will eat plants that are toxic. So it's up to us to ensure a safe environment for them. And sometimes part of safety is having, I don't know, a playpen or baby gates if you have a infant or a toddler. You don't just stick a baby on a bunk bed and just let the child roll around and roll off. No, you confine them. Yes, I'm using the word confine for a human child. You confine them to a crib where there's high sides, where they aren't going to get out. If they roll over in the middle of the night, they aren't going to fall out and hurt themselves. I don't know, when children get big enough that they can crawl out of a crib, then I think that's when I've never had kids, so I'm just guessing that's when you would graduate them to like a toddler bed. Oh my goodness. The Princess Void was just chattering. See if she does it again. Are you going to chatter again? It was so cute. Maybe not, I don't see any birds out there. We had storms and rain last night, and I think we're supposed to have it throughout the day, so I didn't put wet food out for the cats last night. They just had some dry food, and I doubt they even came out, so I'll have to go out later and check them. But no, I think it is still raining. You can see the drops hitting the massive puddle out there on the roof. That's where the birds go, and the birds use that as a bird bath. Maybe that's what they were doing and she saw them. I usually throw out some stale bread or bird seed for them, but I don't do that when it rains because it'll just wash away. So anyway, I thought I could let's see, are you going to chatter? That was so cute. Are you going to chatter, baby? she's just so cute. Okay, so let's go back to the conundrum of keeping cats in quote unquote cages. All right. You know, it's a necessary evil, basically. You have, now, of course, you have people that, oh, wait. There's just a bird out there. Let's wait a minute and see if the bird comes back. See if she'll chatter at it. That's the first I've seen her chatter. She's so cute. Oh. Okay. Let's go back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's why folks that are knowledgeable rescue people use, and even pet parents use crates, and this is how they're responsibly used. Okay, I'm only going to explain this once. So, you know, folks that come on here and complain, and again, you never know on the internet, you never know. The person might just really be like maybe, you know, crazy kind of PETA mentality of every animal should go free. You know, and I agree, like zoos and stuff, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of that goes on, and there are situations like I don't like petting zoos, I don't like the touch tanks, there's a lot of stuff that I don't like, but we're not talking about those animals right now. We're talking about cats. And as far as the cats are concerned, the reason why Chaplin is in a crate is because, number one, first and foremost, it's medically necessary because he has ringworm. If he was wandering around this apartment, he'd be spreading it everywhere. He'd be spreading it to the other cats. It would just be a mess. I'm not dealing with that. Sorry, Nancy. I'm not dealing with it. Number two is Chaplin is still not really good around other cats. He's still scared and he shows signs of FAS response when other cats are near him. He's also not 100% trusting of me yet. So no, I'm not going to let a half wild cat loose in my apartment to run around, get underneath something that I can't access because I'm 58 years old, fat, and out of shape, and I can't crawl under the damn bed to fish the cat out, okay? Not doing it, Nancy. Too old, too cranky for that. So, yeah, he's staying here where I can easily access him. He gets everything he needs. He has a clean litter box, as you can see. He did have clean pee pads. He gets attention. I'm in the kitchen a lot here doing stuff because I'm either preparing food for myself or for the cats. So, yeah, he gets plenty of attention. This is where he's safe. He's safe in here. And as far as the little lady's crate down here, this crate stays up. You can see that I have the door open. I just have this. And honestly, she just went in there today. You know why she went in? Because Abra smacked at her. That's the reason why you have a crate. Cats can be crate trained. It's really good to have a crate for cats. It's a secure space for them. It's a safe space for them. If she gets scared, she can go in there. The other cats don't go in after her. You know, they just want her, basically, like Abra just wants her out of her space. So if Abra slaps at her and Maleficent goes into her crate, Abra's like, okay, my job's done, and she walks away. Now, if I didn't have this down here for Maleficent, who knows? It might escalate to something a little more serious, and I can guarantee you little Maleficent isn't going to win. You know, I love Abra, but Abra's tough. She's been outside. She grew up outside. She's not scared of anything. She's a tough cat. You know, she had to be to survive outside. And plus, she's Lucy's daughter, and Lucy will jack you up. So, you know, yeah. And then as far as like the cages that, or crates, more appropriately, that are used at the adoption events with the Feline Solutions and other rescue groups, they're there. They use them because it's only a couple of hours that the cats are in there. There's plenty of people, as you've seen. I've done footage of the adoption events. You see how many people are around. There's volunteers. Everybody's constantly checking those cats, monitoring those cats. I mean, for example, I don't know if I got that on film or not, but while I was there the last Sunday, there were 2 cats that were put in a cage that were supposed to be bonded, and they were at opposite sides of the cage, hissing and snarling at each other. And one of the volunteers is like, I think something's not right there. And, you know, it was like, okay, we don't know what's happening there. That is a bonded pair. They didn't know if, you know, it could have been stress. It could have been a lot of things. Could have been strange environment, strange smells. You know, if cats don't recognize each other by smell, there can be a problem. That's why if you take one of your cats to the vet, bring the cat back from the vet or from a boarding facility or something, there may be a couple of days where the other cat swat at that cat and hiss at that cat because they don't recognize the cat, because they recognize each other by sense of smell. So that's one of the reasons why, and obviously we can't just, you know, they don't have a luxury of having not every rescue has the luxury of a cat cafe or an open area where they can just let the cats wander around. Not every rescue has that option. They just don't. You know, and it's about, in the end, it's about saving the cats. Yes, we can go in the weeds about trauma. We can go in the weeds about the cat's mental well-being. Is it good? Is it not good? We can debate that from here to, you know, forever, basically. But it comes down to this. Okay, so maybe he's going to be in a crate for a month or 2. And then he might be in a crate again for 3 weeks. And in those 3 weeks, while he's at PetSmart, his forever home comes to see him. You know, the person, his human finds him. And he finds his human. And he's not in a crate anymore now, is he? Now he's in a loving home. So, honestly, I think the sacrifice of keeping these cats in crates for, you know, several months or several weeks really is a small price to pay for getting them into a loving home where they never have to be in a crate again. They never have to live outside. You know, they get love, they get regular meals, they get, when they're not feeling good or when they have a health problem, they get attended to. I think that all is much more important than the momentary discomfort of them being in a crate. And for Nancy, you know, let him go free. Nancy, do me a favor, Nancy. I don't know where you live, hon. Go find somebody, some group that does TNR. Go find trappers that go out with the trappers. Go for a week. I want you to do this for a week, not just a day, a week, so you get the full effect. Go follow them. Go see what they trap. Go see the cats that are like Scar, that have flea allergies, that can't address it because the cat won't let me touch him and he's too wild to be kept inside. So he's going to live out the rest of his life. You know, that's got to be miserable for them. You know, we could go into the weeds about if it's ethical to release a cat that has that kind of issue too. But again, then you're going to have to question, is it ethical to unalive a cat that is healthy otherwise? I mean, these are not easy questions and easy answers to those questions. But, you know, if you want to put some dumb comment, and I'm just going to say it like that, a dumb comment like, let them go, let open the cage and let the cage door and let them all go free. Honey, when I started doing this in 2020, I want to tell you something. And I'm speaking from experience here. I knew shit about cats. I had like one or two cats when I was a kid. And back then we didn't take care of cats the way we do now. I didn't know as much about them as we do now. There wasn't the wealth, there wasn't the internet, there wasn't the wealth of information, there wasn't all these cat behavioralists and such out there like there are now. So we really didn't know. We didn't know, I mean, what the hell? We didn't know what trauma-informed care was, let alone FAS, let alone the 333 rule. We didn't know any of that. That wasn't, no one had any idea about that. And to me, this is a lot of the stuff that I'm learning now. I'm learning because I have Kayla on here, who's a awesome volunteer with Feline Solutions. She's one of our managers now. So that's why I'm learning a lot that I'm learning. I wouldn't, otherwise I wouldn't know all this. I mean, I probably stumble upon it eventually because I'm always reading and researching and learning, but I may not have learned it when I needed it. And luckily I have Kayla here to help guide me through a lot of this process. But back in 2020, I didn't have a Kayla. I was on my own. I want to tell you, I saw kittens that, well, they survived, but if I hadn't intervened, I don't know that they would have. They had severe respiratory infections. Then you have kittens that you see one day and then you never see them again. That's not uncommon. They go missing. Who knows what happens? Then you find ones that are unalive. Like I found one that suffocated in a plastic cup. Got its head stuck in a plastic cup. Had one of those lids with a dome like they have at Starbucks with to put the whipped cream in. And I don't know where the kitten came from, but the poor little thing was unalived when I found it. So yeah, so I'm the wrong person to talk to about opening the cage door and letting them all run free, because I'll be the first person that tells you I don't believe any cat should be outside. And the ones that are outside that are quote unquote feral, they're that way because they never had an opportunity. It's just like generational trauma in humans. It's just like people getting on the system, getting on, social service systems, living in impoverished areas. Some kids never have a chance. They end up in jail because they truly never had a chance. It's not that they wanted to end up in jail. It's not that that was their dream as a kid growing up. It's like there was no opportunity for them. And the same thing with these cats. A lot of times there's no opportunity for them. They're born outside. They never have human interaction, or the human interaction is horrible. Go over and look at Raven Warrior. Look at Raven, the black cat that somebody kicked in the face and just left her there. A wound healed, but she has a horrific deformity because of it. Bless Shelley. Shelley is the person. Shelley is the person who took in Raven. She does a lot of rescue. So bless her heart that we have people like Shelley in the world, and people like Kayla and Carol from Feline Solutions. But when they're born outside, shit happens. So there's my little rant for the day, folks. Go get yourself educated before you leave dumb comments on people's channels. Just a little bit of FYI, and some suggestions for folks. Yeah. All right, I'm going to leave it there, everyone. Thanks for watching. Chaplain's fallen asleep. He is sleeping. When he wakes up, I'll have to give him a fresh pee pad. He's got his nip and a full belly. He's a happy boy. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye for meow.